Hey, hello, how are ya? And welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to go through all of the books that are on my bookish Christmas wish list. These are books that I do not own. Most of them I haven't read. Some of them I have read like from the library, or I've listened to the audiobook, but I really wanted a physical copy, so those are on some of these lists. And these are all physical copies of books that I would like to own. I have two lists. One of them was a list that I made for Josh because we both love to read, so we decided we would get each other 5 books each this Christmas, so that's a separate list. And then we have another list because Josh's family does this thing every year. It's an Icelandic tradition where you give each other books every Christmas Eve. We draw names for it. I believe it is pronounced Jólabókaflóð. I could be wrong. Look it up if you want to. But it's just like a really fun tradition that we do every year. And so we have a separate list for that, and we all send each other our lists so that whoever has you can pick a book that like you actually want off of that, and then you'll receive it on Christmas Eve. So I'll go through that list too. So first up on this list, I have Twisted Lies, Twisted Hate, and Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I have the first book, Twisted Love. I haven't started the series, but I feel like if I like the first book, I'll obviously want to keep reading all the other ones. And when I own a physical book, I want all of the books in that series to be in physical form, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to just like own the first one physically and then have the second one in Kindle and then read the third one from the library or whatever, like just because it looks nice on the shelf, you know? So I have the rest of that series on there. Then I have Every Summer After and Meet Me at the Lake. Both of those are by Carly Fortune. It's not a series, but they're just both books by her that I have read and I absolutely loved, and I would love to own physical copies of those because I would honestly read them again. Like, they're so good. And I think I read them, I think one of them I read on Kindle and then the other one I read from the library last year, so I really want those. Then I have This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub. If you've seen any of my videos, you've probably heard me talk about this book. I read this book last year and I was absolutely obsessed with it. Like, I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was actually dragging my feet a little bit going into it because I knew that it was going to be, one, a literary fiction, and I was like in a hardcore romance phase for most of last year. But then also I knew that it would be like a little bit more melancholy because the story centers around this woman whose father is dying, and she ends up accidentally finding a way to time travel back to her, I believe, 16th birthday when her dad is young. And so she's trying to figure out if there's something that she can do in the past to stop her dad from dying in the present. So it's like, it is a little bit sad, but it's so beautiful. Like, there's just something about that book. Like, it just seriously impacted me, and I would love to own a copy of it. Specifically, the hardcover copy. It's really pretty. It's like beige, and then it's got these like lines going through it that are like iridescent and rainbow. And not that the paperback is not cool, it's just like completely rainbow, but I read the hard copy from the library and I was like, this book is so pretty, and so I would love to own that. After that, I have Beach Read by Emily Henry. I read this last year, absolutely loved it, and decided that I wanted to collect all of her books. Right now, I think I only have People We Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers. But yeah, I would love Beach Read, and also I just heard that they're releasing the paperback of Happy Place in March, and I'm super excited about that because I bought it on my Kindle and I refused to buy it hardcover just because it wouldn't match with all the other ones. Maybe one day I would buy a hardcover as well just to like have that edition because it's beautiful. But yeah, I want to expand my Emily Henry collection. Then I have The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I read that this year, I believe, and it was absolutely amazing. She's so good. Like, I followed her on Instagram because I'm like, I need to know immediately whenever you're coming out with your next book. I've read The Guest List, The Paris Apartment, and The Hunting Party, and I would seriously recommend all of them. I already have The Guest List on paperback, so I would like to be able to get The Paris Apartment to put them next to each other. Then I put Iron Flame on here because, as you can see, I have Fourth Wing now. And I just, like I said, if I have one in a series, then I'd like to own all of them. So I put that one on my wish list. And then I added Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Sarah Crowley has like endorsed this book so much. She said nothing but good things about it. I want to read it so bad. It sounds like it's got all of the perfect romantasy tropes in it. And the cover is beautiful, so I'd like to own a copy of that. Then I have From Bad to Cursed by Lana Harper. This is the second book in the Witches of Thistle Grove series, the first one being Payback's a Witch. If you watched my November wrap-up video, I read that book last month, and I would say it's the best witch romance I've read so far. High praise, I know. So I'd like to continue on with the series and see what happens. I already feel like, because I knew it was a series, when I was reading it, I was like keeping an eye out for other characters that I felt like the second book could maybe be about. And I do feel invested in that world already. So then when I went and read the description for the second book and I saw who it was about, I was like, okay, I'm excited to hear about that. Then I have Romancing the Gravestone, a Jane ladling mystery by Gina Showalter and Jill Marone. I have no idea what that book is about, but there's an illustrator that I follow on Instagram. I will leave her username here. She did the cover for What You Gonna Do, which is a book that I did not enjoy, but the cover was so cute, and so I started following her. Oh, she also did the cover for Icebreaker and Wildfire by Hannah Grace. And so through following her, I've actually found a lot more books that I want to read just because I'm like, that cover is cute. And so then I'll read about it and I'm like, okay, add it to the list. So at this point in time, I don't remember what this one was about, but I'd be down to own it. Sounds good. Now we've got the Yola wish list. So the first one on that is Do Your Worst by Rosie Danon. Gotta be honest, I don't remember what this one is about. I think it's enemies to lovers, and you know I'm always down for that, so that's on the list. Then Alice and Gabby's Excellent Adventure. That one is also illustrated by that same illustrator I love, so I added this one to the list. Then I added Night Shift by Annie Crown. That one is another one that I found from looking at book covers on Instagram. This is a common theme, I guess. Then I added Collide. This one is a hockey romance, and I've heard it's like Icebreaker, which I'm so down for because I loved Icebreaker. And again, the cover is illustrated by the same girl, so I would love to own that one. Then I put Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I believe this one is a little bit older, but I've heard that it's an amazing fantasy duology, and I've seen the covers of both the books. They're absolutely gorgeous, so I would definitely not mind owning a copy of that. And I would love to read that. Regardless of whether or not I get it, I would love to read that in this upcoming year. Then I put Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. I know this sounds random because I really don't like YA romance normally, but I did read this back when I was probably like 18 or something, and I loved it so much. It was probably one of the first like romance books I ever read, and I was so into it. And then the movie came out and I was just like, yes, I love this so much. And honestly, I would love to read it again and see if I feel like it holds up, so I wouldn't mind owning a copy of this. Honestly, it sucks because I used to own a copy of it and I got rid of it in one of my like random fits of minimalism, so that's unfortunate that I'm asking for somebody else to buy it for me again. But yeah, I want to read it again, and I don't really want to just like buy it on Kindle because I have read it, so I'd love to add it to the shelf. Then I have Thank You for Listening by Julia Whalen. She is actually an audiobook narrator. I believe she's done all of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, and I love her voice, and I love that she decided to then write a book that I believe is about audiobook narrators. I could be wrong, but that sounds really interesting to me, and I've heard good things about it, so I'd love to read that. Then I put This Spells Love by Kate Robb on the list. It's another witch romance. Like I've said before, at this point, I'm doing it for science. I'm doing it for you. I have committed to making an extensive video probably next year where I rank every witch romance I've ever read so that you know which ones to read and which ones to stay away from. Then I added What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. I'm probably saying that wrong. That looked interesting. I think somebody picked it as a Book of the Month Club read, so I was like, well, those are always winners, so I put that on the list. Then I added The Lost Ticket by Freya Sampson. I remember hearing the plot for this one and being like, that sounds so cute, so I put it on the list. Don't remember what it's about now. That's fine. It's okay. Because if I get it, then I can read it and I'll tell you what it's about. Next up is Polite Company by Gervais Haggerty. I stumbled across this book in a Barnes & Noble like a year or two ago, and I thought the plot sounded really interesting. I believe, I could totally be wrong, I believe it's about a girl that like has a really rich family and she's expected to act really like polite and prim and proper, and she just decides to like buck against that one day. Watch me read the synopsis for this and it'd be like totally wrong. It sounded interesting. That's obviously why I put it on this list. So then I added Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. This is another one of those books that I added to a bunch of wish lists when I was really into that like reading retellings of legends phase earlier in the year, and I still really want to read this book. It sounds really interesting to me. Then I added Perfect Vintage by Chelsea Fagan. She's actually the like co-founder of The Financial Diet, if you guys have ever seen her videos on YouTube. I've read her The Financial Diet book, and that was pretty good, but this is her first foray into fiction. And so I was like, I would love to read that, see what that's all about, support her. So I added that. And then the last one is Handmade Murder by Emma Chapman. She is a part of the sister duo Behind a Beautiful Mess blog. They have like a craft blog that they've been running for like so long, and then they have a podcast that I listen to every week and I thoroughly enjoy. And this is her first novel that she's published. And so I'm really excited to read that hopefully soon, because I would love to know what that's all about. She's been talking about it on the podcast forever, and I know that it's a mystery, and you can't go wrong with a good mystery. So I would love to read that. Anyway, that concludes this video. Those are all of the books that are on my bookish Christmas wish list. Comment down below if you want me to do a video where I haul any of the books that I might get for Christmas. I don't know, that could be interesting maybe. Let me know. If you like this video, give it a like. If you like me, give me a subscribe. You can hit the little bell icon and get notified whenever I post. And all of my social media links are in the description if you want to go follow me on Instagram or Goodreads or Spotify or Pinterest. You can do that there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye!